Hey, my name's Joel, and in this video, I'm gonna be telling you about this camping light from BougeRV. It's a really interesting category that we've seen grow a lot over the last couple months, this combination of a battery bank and a high output, low voltage LED light built in. There's a lot of great features in these, and I think this one in particular is unique and has some features that others do not. Starting with this bag that it comes with, you may think, why would I need a bag for something that's already pretty self-contained, right? Well, it's nice because you've got a place here on the side of the bag to store your USB-C charging cable or your stakes, these little stakes that will help you keep it in place if you've got a little bit of wind going on. All of those things fit in this little pouch on the side, little Velcro pouch. It's got a handle and of course a zipper on top. So it's kind of self-contained, helps keep the light clean, and just gives you a little more peace of mind if you're throwing it into a backpack with the rest of your gear. But that's not something that a lot of other lights in this category are coming with. So even though it's a pretty lightweight standard bag, it is nice that it comes with a bag. So once we remove it from the bag, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. You can see that it's kind of this military style coloring, a very earthy greenish brown color. And the features of this light are numerous, but I'm gonna start with the fact that this is an over 15,000 milliamp battery. That's one of the main features in a lot of these camping lights, is that they're larger battery banks. And this one in particular has some feet that just pop out the bottom, and you'll see they've got reflective tape here on the top of the legs. So it sets out like this tripod style. These feet are completely separate from the lights themselves, but these feet slide back in. They just go down and then slide back in like this. Really easy to deploy, quick and easy to get them out. Not complicated, but at first it took me a minute because I thought the lights themselves were the legs. But this is a minimum 10-inch height, maximum 5 foot 5-inch telescopic boom light. And what you do is once your legs are out, you can simply pull this center section here like so, and your lights are going to come out in kind of a, I would call that a flower petal fashion. It's really quite cool. They go all the way up, let's see, all the way up like this, or all the way down like that. They even rotate 270 degrees, I believe. You can get a light facing the top, and then you can rotate it all the way down to face the ground, or you can rotate it sideways. They don't spin 360 degrees all the way. They do have a stopping point on each side, but a really neat feature that all three of these lights can be articulated up in the air like this or down, and they do spin individually. So you can point these lights pretty much wherever you want. The only thing that I have to say about these lights themselves, these are lightweight stems here, but they do tend to, around this area here, if they get jostled, they tend to droop. See how this droops just a little? I don't consider that to be a huge deal, because when are you gonna be, shaking on a light like that? But if you put them in this orientation, they may have a tendency to fall down like this as you kind of, move it around. So, better off for them to either be further down like this, where they have less chance to wilt or droop, or straight up like this. I like that orientation a lot. So just know that that's probably the weak point of this whole design, are these little hinges here, but not a huge deal because these are extremely lightweight. Okay, so before we get too far into the video, let's go ahead and shut off the main studio lights so I can show you what these lights look like, because there's several different types of light orientations and there's different colors that the lights can put out. So let's check that out. Okay, now that we've got our front lights off, we've just got a little bit of backlight. That'll give you a good idea of what this light looks like, and we'll take it into the darker room in just a minute. But all the controls are right here on top of the light. You have a power button there, but also a master power button on the bottom. Both must be on in order for it to work correctly, but your first click here is simply gonna turn on one of your lights. So a second click is gonna bring on a second light. You'll see that there. Now you have two lights on, and the third click is gonna bring on all three. So we've got 1, 2, and now 3 are on. And you can orient these in any direction. Of course, you have an intensity button that's a plus or minus button that you can click. So we've got, this is brighter, brightest, really bright by the way, and then we were all the way on the lowest setting when we started. And you can see the kind of light that this puts out is incredible. 3 of these lights, you can rotate them around. I mean, It's a lot of light, even on the lowest setting. And I did read that on the lowest setting with one light on, so not all three, but just one stem, you'll get 60 hours of light. So if you want to spread that out, that's a long time. I believe it lasts about 2 hours if you have all the lights on all the way up. So it'll last an entire evening around a campsite for a couple hours all the way out. But because there's so much light, I don't think you need all of them. So that's the intensity. That's the different modes. Then we can switch the color. We can go from this bluish daylight color, it's a little intense, to more of a warm orange light. That's really nice because at night, you don't always want that bright daylight if you're not doing a task. This would be much better, and you can kind of see how warm it is. Again, 3 different intensity levels. Whoop, hit a wrong switch there. 3 different intensity levels on here. You've got low, medium, and high. Less intense than the daylight, but nice and warm. This would be great downlight. And even though you can face these up, I do prefer to have them facing down at the ground. It's really nice that you can kind of face them in any direction. I'm up here now, I can face them down here near my face, or if I'm working on a task. Like I said, up to 5 foot 5 inches tall with this telescoping arm in the middle. And there's nothing you really need to do other than pull the telescoping arm out, push it in. It's fairly self-regulating. So that's the second mode. And then the third mode, if you want to put your arms down a little bit, the third mode is the light right on top. It's more of a flashlight. So if you were to put everything, back together in the middle, legs go in, you were walking down a trail and you just needed a flashlight. I gotta say, this is the weakest light. Obviously, it's a very small light here on front, but it does throw enough light out for you to see some things in this direction. So those are the 3 different styles of light, and they're all really useful in different ways. I really enjoy the fact that you can change the color temperature on these, and you can articulate these arms. Like I said, the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is the fact that these arms are a little flimsy, but when you want them facing down anyway, that doesn't cause a lot of issue. Okay, so now that you have a better idea of how this light works, what kind of light it puts out, I want to point out something else that you might not have thought of when it comes to a light like this that I mentioned at the top of the review, and that is the fact that this is a large battery bank. Over 15,000 milliamps of battery inside here. What does that mean? Well, it means that you can use it for more than just a light. Rather than taking multiple devices camping with you, you can use this for multiple different purposes. Obviously, it charges via USB, as almost everything does. Really happy to say it charges via USB-C. So everything that charges USB-C, like most things do, high output, high input, you can charge it quickly and you don't need an extra cable. What you have will already work. But this is not just a USB input on the device, it's also a USB-C output. So I can take my phone and plug it in here and get a charge from the light. See that there? We're charging from the 15,000 milliamp battery inside this light. And for a night or two, this is really handy. It's a lifesaver. You can recharge it during the day with some solar, keep your devices charged and at night and have some great light around. I love the fact that this is USB-C in and out. It's got a nice dust cover there, and it's just really handy to have a multifunctional, multi-purpose product with you when space is at a premium, putting things in your backpack, putting things inside an RV with your camping gear. This is great. It also has a little hook here at the top. We didn't talk about that because I feel like because of the weight of this light, it's a little bit heavier. It might be hard to hang this in a tent. It's just a little bit too heavy, but you could do that and you could face these lights, downward like this if you were doing something like that. I think that this would probably be the least likely way you would use this light. Much more likely, you're gonna have it setting the other direction with the feet facing upward and then, making these go down like this. But it does have a hook there on top. I guess if I could give you one other piece of advice about this, one other little nitpicky thing is that these lights are hard to get out unless you first pull it out just a little bit. Then you can easily tilt these lights out, but you want to put them in and pull them out when you're telescoped out just a little bit so that they kind of fit in, because they want to snap there at the end, and they're just not able to be pulled in and out when it's all the way in. So overall, a very useful light. This is super unique. Like I said, there's a lot of lights popping up like this, but I like the fact that this has multiple different light panels on it. I've seen some with one kind of multi-directional light in the middle. This has much more options for you, different colors, different directions. It can be both a task light and a mood light, an ambiance light when you're camping or when you're working on something maybe on the side of an RV that's broken. So check it out for yourself. It's the BougeRV camping light, telescoping legs, 3 LED lights coming out, 15,000 milliamp battery. I really think you're gonna like this one.